Hey, welcome to the Drep and Stone podcast, the podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
What's so funny?
Oh, nothing. Just sitting over here in the lab bar and having a good day.
Okay,
what are you doing, buddy?
I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah, fantastic.
I did not expect that. You totally threw me off. Like,
just had to do something different.
Well, before I hit record, I'm like, okay, so how are we going to get into this? And then
nailed it.
Sure.
I'm Kyle.
I'm just happy to be Kyle.
Ooh, what are you doing here, Nick?
Is that your Kermit?
Oh, that's Californians.
Huh?
The Californians? SNL?
What?
Devin? Ooh, what are you doing here?
Now you lost me.
Man.
I'm sorry.
I just opened your world to a whole new thing right
It's
there.
happened before.
That's a...
Don't need to Google it right now?
Nah.
All right.
No, we'll save it for later.
Okay.
But man, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It'll be a good
my
thing.
future
You'll watch
self
the
thanks
entire
you right now.
You'll watch the entire hour-long compilation of all the Californians skits from.
Who are the Californians? Like who are the SNL
what's the
actors?
guy from Portlandia?
Fred Armisen?
Fred Armisen,
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig.
Tina Fey?
No.
Oh.
He's got that show. Is it Barry?
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader. Yeah, they're like the three main ones. Kenan Thompson is in a lot, or no, he's in a couple of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all in it at some point in time. Seth Meyers is in it sometimes, but it was always those three along with the guest host,
Gotcha.
whoever it was.
Okay.
They're
All right.
Give me a second.
No, no. Okay.
just because I gotta just play the first little bit. The Californians.
Next on the Californians.
I'm glad you came over, Devin.
Well, I do.
Maybe you should get going before Stuart gets home.
Right. I was thinking I'd take Candy View Driver to San Vicente and then make a left and go 405 north. From there, just get off Mulholland.
Totally like that.
Hey, honey, I brought us some tangerines. This guy was selling them on the off-ramp over by the 2. Devin? What are you doing here?
Stuart, why are you him so early?
I skipped Wilshire and took Beverly over to Santa Monica and took that all the way up.
Cracking up.
That was work.
Hey, think you should go home now, Devin.
There's nothing going on, Stuart.
Shit, go home. Get back on San Vicente, take it to the 10, then switch over to the 405 north and let it dump you out into Mulholland where you belong.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Where you belong?
What everybody didn't hear is the 3.5 hours that we just spent watching the Californians.
Yeah. No, I think if you put all of them together, it's like 30 minutes because it's just like skits.
Yeah,
So they're
sure.
like 5 minutes a piece. But
But we watched them 4 times each.
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I
wow.
agree with you.
It is dark
So, like,
outside. Damn.
It's been dark for hours.
Wow.
That's okay. I enjoyed it. I just
it's
I
good
want everybody
stuff.
to know.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, what are you doing?
On that note, you want to drink something now?
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah. What do you want to drink, Nick?
Well, how about this bottle in front of us?
That'll be a good one.
Tell me about it.
Here we go again. It's another special release bottle.
What's wrong with that?
There's
You
nothing
sound-
wrong. There's
you
not.
sound a
No,
bit
I'm
like-
not saying it wrong. It's
Okay,
just
like-
it's we're just we're so fortunate, and you just have to give it the right proper respect.
Sure.
But here we go. This is another special release from one of those Diageo brands. This is the Talisker single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 8 years at cask strength.
Yeah. So, is this our third bottle?
This is the third one.
Wow.
This one is from 2021, so
Okay.
it's a year prior.
So we did the Oban 10.
Yep,
We did last week we did the Lagavulin
12.
and now we're doing the Talisker 8.
8.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they like those round, even numbers.
Yeah, which is interesting because all of these special releases are lower age statements than the normal age statement of that particular whiskey.
Right.
Because like Lagavulin's 16.
Yep.
Oban's usually 14.
Right.
Lagavulin's 16.
Yep.
And Talisker is usually 10. Like that's kind of like Talisker 10 is their
Right.
like brand.
Right.
Obviously, there's a bunch of different versions, but like interesting that all these special releases that are at a lower age statement.
Yeah, and I feel like that's actually kind of like a common thing in Scotch. When you can find the cask strength versions, they're not
Yeah.
They're not at that higher age range.
Right. Yeah.
Not sure why.
Maybe there's something about the lower age statement actually works better with the higher proof.
Maybe.
Because like we've had conversations in the past that like the idea here is not just let's bottle it for bottling's sake. It's now that's where it really sings. So maybe
Right.
that there's some sort of confluence that happens there.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like, we don't want to trample on our namesake, if you will.
Yeah. Perhaps that, or, I'm kind of wondering if, like, just when you get up into those upper years, if the oak influence at that point in time is just
too much.
Too much to palate. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yep.
Ooh. Nice.
Hefty pour.
Hefty. By the way, did you know that we were sponsored by the Hefty brand? I mean, there's a reason that John Cena's sitting over there.
Is he also hefty?
Yeah, he's a hefty guy.
No shit.
Well, he is a hefty guy.
He is a hefty guy.
No,
I'm
but
not
he is the
questioning
hefty.
that.
He is the hefty guy. Yeah,
The hefty.
Well,
guy.
we're taking over for John.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the hefty people were like, I mean, what makes sense here is John Cena, then Dreppen Stone.
Right.
So that's how we landed this deal.
I mean,
I'm for the hefty money.
yeah, I didn't know where it came from, but I'm glad they're here.
I'm glad John's sitting here.
Yeah, that's weird. He's very quiet.
He is. Well, that's a thing. Like, because he's such a limelight kind of guy, we can talk about him in front of his face,
Right.
but he's not going to talk.
Yeah.
So he's just sitting over here in the corner.
Yeah, he's smaller than he is in real life. No, that's not right. Smaller than he is on camera. Talisker 8 in the glass.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of color.
No.
It's a light whiskey. Of these special releases, definitely the lightest.
Yeah, I would say like just weak straw water.
Yeah, little Pinot Grigio colored,
Near clear, if you will.
near clear.
Talisker comes from the Isle of Skye, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
The rugged Isle of Skye.
Sure. You got any canister words before as we're sitting here?
Yeah, this version of it had this lovely purple dragon
Yeah.
graphic art on it. Lovely stuff. So they've got a whole legend on the back of the sleeve. Mm-hmm. But we'll skip it. We'll go to the like we did last week.
Okay.
And I'll read the paragraph of the
After we tasted it.
Yeah, after the tasting.
Okay. On the nose?
on the nose. Fruity Scotch,
Puffs of smoke.
puff of smoke.
Yeah, like that fruit element is really pronounced. I did not expect that.
Yeah,
Some malty notes going on there.
yeah.
But like
they're underneath.
they kind of recede into the background. Like I get like punch of malt, but
Yeah.
then it's just like underneath the table there.
Right. Got nervous. Whoa, sorry.
Stage fright.
Revealed too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, but it's not heavy smoke, but it's like puffs of smoke.
Yeah.
You get fruit, puff of smoke, malt, puff of smoke,
Yep.
and it's like well balanced smoke too.
Yeah. It's a delightful nose. Man, I've always like attributed this like creamy note.
Yeah,
And I feel like I'm starting to recognize it now as like a creamy malty thing.
yeah, definitely. What I like is last week's Lagavulin was like aggressive ashtray, peat, campfire on the nose.
Yeah.
Whereas this is more like friendly.
Touch of brine.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if you've ever been to like a clam bake,
Sure.
but like in a traditional like New England clam bake, like if you do it like super traditional style, you take seaweed and some seawater and like you cover the clams or whatever it is that you're doing
Right.
in burlap and seaweed and like you kind of roast it on a big like iron plate kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, like and that's what I get. It's not like you get some of the smoke, but you also get this really nice like well-rounded briny nature.
That's coming more and more forward for me. It's this kind of briny, like
Yeah.
oystery kind of a thing.
Perfect. And it's not aggressive smoke.
Yeah, no. Everything's just kind of like just with that smoky element, just kind of in the background.
Yeah.
Of all of it.
It reminds me of like smoked salmon. Like it's not super heavy smoke.
Right.
It's just like, hey, this is, smoke cured and you got some ocean going on.
Bit of a
Yeah.
cedar plank.
Oh, yeah. That's my nickname in college.
Cedar plank?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Going in.
Going in.
Enough sniffing. Time for sipping. Turn me into the king of pop for a second.
Man.
Okay.
Come on.
Woo. That changes things a bit.
Yep.
What was the proof here?
59.7.
1.
19.4.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going up 5 even points
from last week.
from last week.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So wow, it's a curveball in terms of nose to palate.
Right.
Because on nose, like that smoke is like really even keel and delightful.
Right.
On the palate, it's like, hey.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely getting more smoke, I want to say, from the Lagavulin when I'm thinking of like the ashy smoke.
It's a
This
different
smoke
kind of
is
smoke,
more
yeah.
of like the oaky peat. Like the peat that I feel like we normally talk about is more of a wood burned, even though I know it's moss.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
The smoke on the Lagavulin was so ashy and so like the remnants of smoke. It was almost like condensed smoke.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Like this is more true to peat.
Right.
This is more true to what I think of as peat. I think for me, what stands out is like on the nose and then to the palate, it's totally different in the amount. Because like on the nose, yeah, it's there, but it's like light and friendly.
Right.
And then on the palate, it's like, no, I'm here.
Right.
But you're right. It is quintessential peat.
Yeah. Go back in.
That like, ooh, a little peppery spicy comes out.
Yep.
But the
Yeah.
peat,
A lot of black peppery.
yeah. But you're right. The peat dissipates, which is what I normally expect out of a peated whiskey.
Yeah. This is like black peppered honey
Oh, that's good.
with that smoky. It's a smoked black pepper honey
Yeah.
at 119.4.
But on the third sip, the peat's gone now for
Yeah.
me.
Right?
Like it, and like that, whoa, that malty note.
Yeah, that creamy malty. Yeah.
Whoa.
Legit.
Whoa. I did not expect that. Like you kind of prepped me for it.
Yeah.
Wow. That malty note just comes in. It's like, hey, by the way, here's everything you like out of scotch.
Right.
Like, I mean,
All of it.
Yeah.
Just
Like the peat's gone
boom.
now, buddy. So like here, yeah, here's your single malt scotch whiskey. Here you go.
Like, I don't know if it's
Whoa.
just still on my palate, but like, I still like my aftertaste is still oaky smoky.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm not getting that. I'm not getting oaky smoke.
Just on my like aftertaste. Yeah. I mean, it has very clear phases. Whew. And that proof just doesn't.
It's the proof. Agreed. That proof, it hangs on for days.
Yeah. I mean, I've had 4 or 5 sips now, and it's still like every time it's like cinching up my tongue.
Which is really interesting to me because normally with anything high proof, once you kind of acclimate to the proof, you're good.
Right.
But there's something about the alchemy that's going on here that it's like the peat is dissipated, the malty notes come forward, and then the proof like almost ramps up. Whereas normally proof dissipates, it's like the proof has gotten stronger.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Super
still
interesting.
fighting with you. I mean, there's very few whiskeys that like after 2 or 3 sips,
Yeah.
I'm not acclimated to it. But this one, it's still just kind of like every time it's like, yeet.
To me, it's that malty, cereally, oaty kind of note that just like that is what sings.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, front palate, mid palate, absolutely.
Yeah, that to me is what's beautiful about this whiskey.
Right.
Is it sure you get the peatiness, the brininess slightly on the palate, but then like it just washes over with this beautiful sweet malty note that is fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. Single malt at its finest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Read those tasting notes on that there canister, if you wouldn't mind, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
The furious spirit writhes with cereal aromas, soon enveloped by briny seaweed and mountain smoke.
Okay, totally.
The soft, oily texture smoothly insinuates itself, carrying forward a bold taste with licks of savory salt, light sweetness, and pronounced smoke.
Okay.
From our most heavily peated reserves, the elemental power of the sea is acclaimed, finishing long and lingering. The smoke endures, the sea monster breathes fire.
Yeah,
A whiskey made by the sea.
I totally get it.
Made by the sea or by the sea, like beside the sea.
I think both.
Kind of a little bit of both.
Sure.
Whiskey for the wild at heart.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah.
I am kind of surprised though that like that malty sweetness is not more highlighted there because like, I agree.
Yeah,
with,
it says light sweetness,
Yeah.
but like I would say like it's
like I
it's
don't,
rather sweet.
Well, okay. When you say light sweetness, to me, it's one of two things: either light sweetness, as in like it's just slightly sweet, or light sweetness, as in like it's a bright sweet. And I don't know what they mean there because like when I think of dark or heavy sweet, it can go, like sorghum, molassesy, dark maple syrup sweet or
Light confectionery sweet.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what they mean by light sweet
Yeah,
there.
agreed.
So like it's sweet to me.
Right.
Well, it's sweet in like the way malt is sweet.
Yeah.
Not in the way bourbon's sweet though.
No. I mean, there are, for me, touches of like vanilla.
Yeah.
And things like that, but it is.
But that's just like, to me, it's toasted oak barrel. Like that's what you
Right.
get out of toasted oak barrel.
Yeah, for sure. It's a tough whiskey.
I'm going to say something similar to what I said last week. It's not a whiskey that I would recommend to very many people.
Yeah, agreed. It's something that we enjoy it.
Absolutely.
We enjoy the process. We enjoy like pushing through it and finding the elements. But I think most people would just be absolutely put off by it.
Yeah, it's interesting that we've started the year off with two whiskeys that like I enjoy.
Yeah.
There are only a handful of people off the top of my head that I would be like, no, you should try that.
Right.
And those are a select few.
Right.
I know our listener as a whole, I can't recommend it.
Well, I think our listener as a whole is striving in that direction, though.
Agreed.
They want to get there.
Yeah.
I think our listener would appreciate our enjoyment of the whiskey.
Sure.
And
I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't want our enjoyment to be an endorsement.
okay.
Does that make sense? Like I'm not saying like maybe let me say it a different way. I'm not saying, dear listener, you should go out and buy this. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I really enjoy this, but I'm not certain you should seek this out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
I think I mean I would say I would take what you're saying, but I would just add the caveat of, have you had regular Talisker, and did you enjoy that?
Okay.
Do you want to take that to the next step?
Sure.
You know, like if you see yourself on a trajectory of things, of you know, in your whiskey journey of, I can see that I'm going this way. I enjoy Scotch. Maybe you're starting right there. Like,
Yeah.
no, I do like Scotch.
Sure.
I like the different Scotches. I like a smoky Scotch.
Perfect point.
So
Okay.
then you're going in this direction, you know, maybe,
Yeah.
all right, so then try to find yourself a Port Charlotte.
Okay.
That's going to go up to 100 proof, and it's smoky.
Let me amend that a little bit then. If you've been on the whiskey journey with us from the beginning, then yeah, I would recommend this. Go try it. Go kind of figure it out. If you've had some of the bottles that we've had, if you've, you know, experienced, in this case, regular Talisker 10 or even Talisker Storm, or in the case of like the other things that we've had, you had, you know, Lagavulin, or Oban 14, and you've had those, I agree, and you like those, sure. But if you are a brand new Drep and Stone listener and this is your first episode or one of your first couple, I cannot in good conscience recommend this to you. It's an expensive bottle, and it's a bottle that like it's not for you.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think if you're listening to Drep and Stone, or if you're following our social media, you probably like whiskey.
Sure.
And you
Fuck
know
it. Jump
your way
in.
around Scotch.
Jump in.
Go get it.
Okay.
And give it a shot.
Okay.
Like, you know, like,
But don't write to us and say,
Well,
y'all,
no,
y'all
like-
said this was great.
well, no, I would go back and say, like, you know, what did we say about Coy Reckon? What did we say about that Highland Park Ghost Florida Gulf Coast?
Gulf Coast.
Gulf
edition.
Coast.
You're probably saying something similar.
You know, like that.
Ain't for the
You
faint
want,
of heart.
you want to talk about an aggressive whiskey like that? What was it? 130? What? Like, come on. Like, you know, did we put a disclaimer on those whiskeys?
Probably.
And say,
Knowing us, yeah.
be careful, guys.
Yeah.
So it's just that kind of a thing of like just know what you're talking about. Know what you're talking about. Know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
You know, this is not a daily sipper.
Yeah.
This
No.
is not I'm going to sit back and have a Scotch.
Perfect point.
You know?
Not a daily sipper.
Yeah.
The experience bottle.
This is I want to go for a ride on a purple dragon.
I'm going to add
Purple
one more
sea monster.
I'm going to add one more caveat. These bottles that we've done recently of this kind of Diageo limited release edition.
Yep.
These are bottles that are meant to be shared with other whiskey nerds.
Yeah.
And like in a Drep and Stone kind of setting, like
Yeah.
with another person,
Yeah.
with a couple other people. This is not an isolated experience kind of bottle to
Right.
me.
No, I totally agree. I mean, it can be.
Sure,
That's
but
your thing.
but I
But
feel
they're better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think all whiskeys tend to be better
Yeah.
with other people. But what I mean by that is like I think it's oh my God, I need to share this like experience with
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we've got the whoa going on,
Yeah.
what do you want to talk about this week?
So we were discussing topic ideas, coming up with a thing. I sent you a TikTok or something. Oddly enough, it was a video of Wayne Knight. Mm-hmm. We all know Wayne Knight.
Yeah, we do.
You may not know who Wayne Knight is if I just say Wayne Knight, because
Character actor.
He's a character actor, but he's not somebody that is the name doesn't jump out.
Right.
Even like right now, for you to say Wayne Knight to me, I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, Wayne Knight. He's certainly more known as Newman.
Yeah. Yeah,
from Seinfeld.
Absolutely.
Newman.
Yep.
But he's also very well known from Jurassic Park.
Yes.
As the, minor villain of the movie. Because I think the major villain of the movie is the dinosaurs.
Sure.
But it's through his character of
Nedry?
Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dennis Nedry.
Yep.
Of the
Right. Samuel
you
Jackson.
didn't say the magic word.
Right. He's the one who's trying to get the genetic information.
Yeah. The embryos
that's
off
what
the
it is.
island.
Yeah, exactly.
Through the shaving cream can.
Yeah. Right.
Barbasol.
Can. Yeah. He's also in Space Jam too.
Yeah, he totally is.
Yeah.
The OG.
Yeah,
the Michael Jordan version.
Exactly. Can I say the better version?
The only version.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
I didn't see the other one.
No, I had no.
I'm sure I never will. Yeah, he's in that. Is he in anything else? I'm sure he's in something else.
Oh, he's in actually a bunch of things.
Yeah, I'm
It's
sure
just-
he is.
he's
Those are definitely his, like, you circle those with the highlighter.
Oh yeah, because he's again, he's a character actor.
Sure.
I mean, he's in a bunch of things.
So yeah, I mean, we all know him, but he was on a podcast, I believe, is what the video that I sent you was from.
Yep.
And he was talking about a experience on Jurassic Park as a whole, about how he was hired as a character actor. He didn't have to audition.
Yeah.
And he didn't even meet Spielberg until he arrived in Hawaii to start filming.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre
Yeah.
to me, that like that there was no other, like, that's the way movies work. It's like, seeing that, like, how the sausage is made kind of a thing,
Yeah.
that just like blows my
At least
mind.
in the early 90s.
Well, I bet it's probably not too dissimilar now, of like, especially I think even more so now, of like, there's enough content of you on the internet that I can see that I know that you're what I want. Like, you're the thing that I'm wanting.
Sure.
So the fact that they were doing it in the 90s, like, just kind of blows my mind.
And I guess at that point, like, he had enough stuff on Seinfeld that, like, Spielberg clearly, could have seen him somewhere.
I would check your time on that one. Jurassic Park is early. I would think Seinfeld might be after Jurassic Park.
Seinfeld was like 88, 89. Jurassic Park's 93.
Yeah.
Seinfeld's 92 through 98.
So there's no way Seinfeld was in the 80s.
I thought Seinfeld was 89. I don't know where I got 89. No, yeah. It aired from 89 to 98.
Seinfeld,
89 to 98. Damn, me with the dates, man. Get off my hill. This is my hill. I'm going to die on this hill.
I don't know where you do it.
Wayne Knight was on Seinfeld from 92 to 98.
Okay.
Yeah, but Seinfeld was 89.
Okay, but your argument doesn't work.
No, you're right. Because they would have filmed Jurassic Park prior to 93. So it's likely that he would have never.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Yeah, sure. Anyway,
it still just blows my mind that they knew that was the right guy.
Right.
But anyway, he gives this like encounter of him meeting Steven Spielberg underneath the Jurassic Park gates.
Yeah.
Like, that's where he met him. And it was really, actually, it's a really cool video to see him talking and like hearing Wayne Knight and not any of his characters.
Exactly.
Because he is such a great character actor. When you see him, you immediately think of that. Like, I immediately go straight to Newman.
Yeah. Can I also just say, like, this, I don't know exactly when this was recorded.
Yeah.
But dude looks good.
He does look good.
Like, he's in his late 60s right now, but dude looks good.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Compared to like how we knew him.
Right.
In pop culture references.
Sure.
Anyway. But what really triggered me was in that conversation and made me send you that video.
Yeah.
Was he talks about he got to meet Michael Crichton.
Right.
Obviously.
Who is the writer of Jurassic Park.
The writer of
the original novel.
Of the novel.
Yeah.
For sure. And obviously had a big role in the movie.
Right.
In the making of the movie. Because I believe this was... Would this have been Michael Crichton's first adaptation?
No, the Andromeda Strain was... a film in like the early 70s. Like the Andromeda Strain, yeah, it was written like the late 60s. Like Michael Crichton at that point had been writing for quite some time. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And like at this point, his movie or his novels have been adapted for quite some time.
Wow.
Like
that's blowing my mind right there.
Yeah,
like I've always had Michael Crichton in my head
as
of
a
like
90s writer.
Well, as like when Jurassic Park came out, maybe he's in his like late 30s.
No. When Jurassic Park,
early 40s at most.
When Jurassic Park came out, he was like 50 something.
Wow.
Yeah, because
Crazy.
he was born in 1942.
Right.
So Jurassic Park,
shit.
Jurassic Park comes out. He's in his 50s.
That's
at that point.
nuts.
Yeah,
Man, that's crazy how you assume
you
things.
assume that. Yeah. There's a couple movies before that. I mean, Jurassic Park came out in 1990. Like the book came out in 1990.
Right.
And then,
then certainly this has got to be his first big box office success.
I think so. Yeah.
Like I don't think anybody looks back at anything he'd done prior to that as like, oh yeah, that one was great.
No, I think like his films or his novels have been made into films prior, but like Jurassic Park was the first one.
Was
like,
the boom.
Yeah, exactly.
And that put him on front and center.
Yeah, for sure.
And like made him, and I would assume, like when I think Michael Crichton, I think of I read Airframe, which I would assume came after Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Airframe was written in the mid to late 90s.
He also did he not do Outbreak?
He did.
Did he do one that was like a virus type thing? But then I also read Timeline.
Yeah, which was late 90s, 99.
Really enjoyed Timeline. The movie, meh.
Yeah.
But the book was great. Highly recommended. But Michael Crichton, certainly, like, because he did die somewhat young.
Yeah.
Kind of young. Was certainly somebody that I think, because of the success of Jurassic Park, it was kind of like, oh boy, here we go. Like, what else are we going to get from this guy?
Right.
And when did he die? What year did he die?
He died in 2008.
2008. So certainly somebody that like I can remember when he died. It was kind of I didn't know much about him. I knew the name, but I didn't really know a lot of him because he was born in that kind of era. He died before the kind of internet explosion of like what internet has become. Like, whereas like you think of somebody that's like a big time writer now, like if we just say J.K. Rowling, we know so much about J.K. Rowling, and a lot of that is due to her own. She is very open with her stuff.
Well, I mean, you say he died young. I mean, he was 66.
I mean, fair enough. I still consider that young.
No, I do too. But I think it was like what you just mentioned, that like it was because his success was a little bit later.
Yeah,
like
and I'm still thinking of like in my head in the 90s he was in his 40s, or I thought he was like, like
in his
late
30s.
30s.
Yeah, but he's actually in his 50s.
Yeah.
And so like 2008, he's 66.
Right.
Which is still pretty young. You're right. But like,
it to me, it still just kind of feels like, oh man, we should have gotten so much more from you.
Agreed completely. Like, weirdly enough, like he actually is going to have a book with James Patterson. Like there's a book coming out this year.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway.
However that works.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But anyway, all this to digress down to
Sure.
Wayne Knight talks about the conversation that he had with Michael Crichton.
Can I play it? You think that's going to be?
I'm sure we'll be able to get away with it.
Most of the time, I was kind of the antagonist to the whole world, and I didn't have like a lot of byplay. But my one experience from Jurassic Park was something I keep with me for a long time, which is I had lunch one day with Michael Crichton and got to speak to him at length about the internet and the future. And his thought, I said, what do you think of the ubiquitousness of the internet? He says, I don't like it. And I said, why? He said, because you get great thought from rumination. That Einstein sat on a porch and thought about things. He didn't seek out the thoughts of everyone else, a consensus. That the internet is about consensus. It's not about individualized thought. And I never even thought of something like that. And it was just wonderful to be able to have that experience. He happened to be in Amblin, and we happened to have that lunch.
So when I think about what we just heard from Wayne Knight discussing this. I kind of break it down to two different sections, if you will.
Yeah.
First of all, it's Michael Crichton's perspective of the internet.
Which blows my mind.
Oh, yeah.
That he was that forward thinking.
In the early 90s when this was being filmed.
Yeah, before the internet's really taken off.
Yeah, like the internet exists.
Yeah, we're all on AOL.
Sure, but like weak ass AOL.
Yeah, like some very
yeah.
I can't even really find the right things that I'm looking for.
Correct.
I have to go through 4 or 5 different web pages before I find the thing.
We're all watching like the hamster dance. Yeah, actually, no, that's before that. Like,
oh yeah, it's before
way
that.
before the
It's
hamster
like
dance.
it's like any person that you're a fan of, like. I was a big NASCAR fan in the 90s. I was a big Jeff Gordon fan.
Okay.
And like I always remember on the back of his racing suit, jeffgordon.com.
Yeah.
And you'd go to jeffgordon.com and it's just like a bunch of like pictures of Jeff Gordon.
Right.
Like there's really nothing.
But,
Like,
like,
there's like a
grainy AF.
membership
Yeah.
that you could like send in your credit card information in and join up and be part of the Jeff Gordon fan club.
Right.
Like it was such a weird time of like, not like that thing. Let me go to thatthing.com.
Right. So that's what I break it down to. First of all, Michael Crichton's opinion of the internet.
Yeah.
In that like space, but also his idea of like what the internet doesn't allow.
Yeah.
In the early 90s.
Right.
He had no concept at that point of what it would become, nor obviously because he died in 2008, what it is today.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So let's discuss maybe those parts.
Yeah, for sure.
The first part is this idea of rumination.
Right.
And that the internet removes it.
Yeah.
And then the other part is that we go, in terms of the internet, and again, this is in the early 90s.
Right.
That people go looking for information without thinking about the information first.
Right. And he's talking about like specifically like the ubiquitousness of the internet.
Correct.
And I think Wayne Knight at that time, and I think everybody else, or at least, the 99% of the rest of us, were like, this is going to be great.
Right.
To have
The information is there. Boom.
Yeah.
Got it.
Always there, always available. And somehow Crichton had the forethought to go on the other side of it. And
Yeah.
think, man, I don't think that's great.
And what I love about what Knight says here is that like it's this idea of it prevents this and it supplants this other thing.
Right.
It removes one idea, and instead of what we have to deal with, it gives you the ability to do something else, and that something else is a negative. Or what you just said. Like generally we think of the internet as a repository of information, which is all positive.
Right.
But what does that remove?
Yeah. I mean, I looked up a couple of words
Okay.
that he used there.
Yeah.
But specifically like rumination.
What you got? Because when I think about rumination, I just think about thinking about something.
How about Wikipedia?
Okay.
No, nothing wrong there.
Sure.
Rumination is the focused attention on the symptoms of one's mental distress and on its possible causes and consequences,
Sure.
as opposed to its solutions, according to the response styles therapy.
Okay. So when I hear that definition, I think about the aspect of I have an idea. What are the negative consequences of my idea? What are the downsides? What are the failings? What are the shortcomings of my idea?
Yeah, I think scientifically, I think it's like rumination is like how can I disprove my theory?
Absolutely.
Like how can I cause my thinking to fail?
Where does my idea end?
Right.
Yes.
And like the internet certainly is probably not that.
Definitely not. I
At
think
least not in the 90s.
not in the 90s, and I would say not now, because now it's my idea matters. Please, I'm shouting into the void. My idea matters. Here's my idea. It matters. It matters. It matters. Versus like, wait a second. Where does my idea fall short? To some degree, like everyone is guilty. If you're on social media, you're guilty of this, us included. Mm-hmm. It's not, here's my idea. Here's also the failings of my idea. It's like, no, my idea makes sense. Please verify that my idea makes sense. Hit that like button.
Right.
Obviously, Crichton didn't know this. Facebook wasn't even an inkling of a thing of an inkling of a thing.
Right.
But that concept of rumination, in so much as being able to discuss or to think about like the failings of one's idea, is right now nearly absent.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the idea of rumination, like in the way that he's expressing it, to me, it's like deep internal thought.
Correct.
Deep internal thought, void of the mass of
Outside pressures, kind of thing.
yeah, outside information and things like that. Just like what can I, as a knowledgeable person of this topic, really distill down and find meaning within just myself, and then take that meaning and then try to find the errors in it.
Exactly.
You know, and certainly like you can definitely like look at
Yeah, I'm with you.
you know, you can definitely like take an Einstein, somebody with that kind of a mind, and understand how it required that.
Yeah.
It required him thinking of relativity and boiling it down, finding the flaws himself, and making it almost armored proof
Before
then presenting it
that
to
right
the
there,
masses.
that point right there, I think is what Wayne Knight is trying to get at, and by proxy, I guess what
Crichton
actually is getting at,
Right.
is that, you know, how many times, I don't know, I think about my own kind of existence and our own existence within social media, and not that I post very much personally,
Right.
if honestly ever at this point,
Right.
but like when we're crafting things for Drep and Stone, the forethought is like, how can we craft this thing to get maximum exposure?
Right.
Not where's the failing of this thing? Is this idea good enough to put out there?
Right.
Because that's not how we think right now.
Yeah, no.
How we think right now is get my idea
The more
out
the
there.
better.
Exactly. Like I'm going to post 15 times a day. It doesn't matter what I say, because what I say doesn't matter. It's how much I say things.
Right.
All you have to do is just turn on, you know, any modern news station. And you can kind of see that at work.
Right.
It doesn't matter what I'm saying. It just matters that I'm saying something.
Yeah, I have to have constant content available.
Exactly. It's not about quality of content. It's about amount of content.
Yeah.
Whereas what Crichton is saying here is, in that kind of Einstein-y way, is that no, I could publish, as an example, I could publish one thing every 5 years, but that thing is going to be damn significant.
Right.
And that thing's going to matter.
Right.
Whereas now, in the way kind of current culture is set up, if you publish one thing in every 5 years, you're irrelevant.
Right.
Unless you kind of already have that like track record or following or background to be able to do that.
Well, and it's, you know, to me, like, you know, you're looking at really extremes in the examples here.
Sure.
Like, you know, like to say that like Einstein needed rumination to do what he did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But like, you know, where the internet is made for everybody, you know, it's not made for Einstein, you know? So I think in that aspect of it, like, I think what he says is like, it was revolutionary to me in just the concept that he thought that back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Of like the ability to have everything, all of it at your fingertips at any point in time is a bad thing. That he saw that then. Not that it's a bad thing, but that it doesn't necessarily generate.
I think it's a detracting thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It can be a distracting.
Sure.
Aspect, and certainly like we can all attribute it. You know, the Death Scrolls.
Right.
We all have experienced that, and we've lost the rumination.
Exactly.
Like what have I ruminated over in the past decade?
Agreed.
Not a lot. You know.
Yeah, because in my general like rumination time, or the time that I would have for rumination, it's Death Scroll,
Yeah.
or like, you know,
we have so many options.
exactly, flipping through crap that I never have time to like stop and really think about
Yeah.
a thing. Or no, that's not true. I do have the time, but I don't use that time wisely.
It's like, what if we said, all right, over the next 5 years, we're going to make one Drep and Stone episode.
Right.
And we're really going to like just dig it down, and we're going to find the right thing. We're going to figure out what's the best social media to like, we're going to make X many number of posts to generate interest. And like, we're really going to distill down every sentence. We're going to have a script. And, you know, it's like, what would that episode become?
If you're really asking that question, in current popular culture, I'm gonna say nothing.
Oh yeah, for sure. No.
Because like that's not what current popular culture favors.
And I guess that's the point that I'm trying to make of like you're talking about extremes. There are times for that.
Sure.
And Einstein certainly would be the perfect candidate for that. I don't think the Drep and Stone podcast would be.
Right.
You know, that's the other end of the spectrum.
It's stand up to that.
You know, it doesn't need that rumination. So I think there's that element of it that he might have missed. And when I think about that early era of the internet, what he says makes more sense.
Yeah.
Whereas what it is now, where it is just a content orgy of stuff.
Correct.
It's a different thing.
Yeah.
But it is like a skill that we've lost.
Agreed. Have you seen that? It's a thing that's made its rounds a couple of times. Of like, it's a book that's published in response to Einstein's theory of relativity, and it's like 100 disprovings or 100 arguments against Einstein's theory of relativity.
Okay.
And someone asked Einstein himself, like, "Well, what do you think about this book?"
Right.
And he was like, "Well, if my theory of relativity were incorrect, it would only take one individual to tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And you had to give me 100.
Right.
That says something.
Right.
That 100 people had to argue against this one thing.
Right.
And I think that that's the kind of secondary perspective here, is that within our modern kind of popular culture in 2024, that's not a thing, that people don't tend to think about one individual idea. It's idea, move on. What is the next new and best? What is the current new and best?
Yeah.
Whereas maybe it's a bit of nostalgia on my part, but the 90s, it was news came out and you had to wait for news, or ideas came out and you had to wait for people to respond to those ideas. So things took time.
Right.
I mean, we've had this conversation about like TV shows. You had to wait a whole week for that next episode.
Right.
So you got to think about what was going on in that one episode.
Right.
And there's something to like the discourse that surrounds that we have lost completely.
Yeah. And like movies don't help, because like this is all very like what's conjured in my brain right now is Captain America and Black Widow and Ant-Man showing up to Tony Stark's house and saying like, "Hey, we need to figure out time travel."
Right.
And he's like, "Nah, I can't do that right now." But then he does it that night.
Right.
Or at least that's the way they make it look.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, I figured it out.
I took a good bathroom break and like I got it now.
Yeah, they put this thought in my brain, so I went and figured out time travel really quick.
That's not how this stuff works.
Yeah.
Like,
there's no rumination involved. You know, it was just like, got it. I'll take it to him tomorrow.
So like when we're thinking on particular scales, our modern culture, popular culture is like, oh, so you just released this like, hit movie. Next month it should be the sequel to that.
Yeah, right.
Dude, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
But that's how we want it to work.
Yeah.
Whereas Crichton's arguing here that no, good ideas take time.
Right.
And good ideas to some degree are removed from all the noise, from all the banter, from all the people discussing things.
They're removed from all the consensus.
Exactly.
It's the outside of the box kind of stuff.
And I think like to you, when you sent me that, the Wayne Knight thing, I responded like, well, this is also why I don't watch trailers and I generally don't read reviews before seeing a movie or things like that.
Right.
Because like if I look up what other people are saying, that absolutely influences my perspective of the thing.
I mean, I would say a critique, sure. A review, yeah. Not a trailer.
I don't know.
I think a trailer is certainly like the studio trying to sell you the thing.
Sure.
But
how many times, how many times
But
have you
that's
been
advertisement as a whole.
Agreed. And I think that like, not that I don't want to say like I actively try to avoid advertisement.
Yeah, that's impossible.
No, for sure it is. But like I'm aware, I guess, how advertisement is manipulating me.
All right, but here's my spin on that.
Yeah.
Tell me a big purchase.
Me recently?
Anything like you're going to buy a car.
Okay.
You're going to buy Literally
I'm gonna
anything.
read.
You're gonna
right,
research.
you're right.
You're gonna look into it. I don't want to
Sure.
not know.
Sure.
You know,
You're right.
like
I just recently bought a new set of tires.
Yeah.
And I like did some research before I did that.
you're gonna look into it.
Yeah. You're right.
I want to know what I'm getting into.
Sure.
So like I feel like it's a double-edged thing.
Yeah.
It can certainly obviously it can certainly influence your take on the thing.
Right.
But at the same time, whenever it really counts, you do it every time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're not wrong.
You know?
Yeah.
And which I actually I've always kind of been jealous of your take on stuff of I'm the exact opposite. Like if there's a big movie coming out, I'll watch every little bit of it because I love it. Give me all of it. But yeah, no, it's one of those things. Yeah. It might judge you. It might affect your judgment on the thing here.
Yeah.
But it's what you do in general anyway.
Sure. And before I go to a restaurant, I read some reviews.
Yeah.
Of hey, this thing.
You look into it. You like to
Yeah,
be educated on what you're getting into.
To be fair, I leave that to my wife. I'm like, hey, you figure
Find
out
us some places.
Exactly. Oh, man.
Find us some places. I trust your opinion.
Yeah.
She's your reviewer.
Sure. And
She's your person that you trust.
while she's never going to listen to this episode,
Yeah.
she's
okay.
honestly, she's spot on 95%
Boom.
of the time.
Yeah.
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 I trust her judgment.
There you go.
Yeah.
See that's me and New Rockstars.
What?
I'll go and watch everything that New Rockstars says about a thing.
Okay.
Or if I watch a thing, I
Yeah.
want to go watch their response to it.
Right.
Because I've learned that I pretty much always agree with your
like that
take
take,
on the
yeah.
thing, and you're gonna find things in it that I didn't see.
It's just, to me, it's to kind of circle back to the Wayne Knight thing. It's so interesting that Crichton was thinking about that stuff
Yeah.
in the infancy of the modern internet.
Right.
I mean, again, the internet existed in the early 90s, not to any extent of what exists today, but those seeds were there and he knew it then.
Right.
And obviously, this is someone who's born in 1942 thinking about, as a 50-year-old man, what's going on and what the future of this thing is. And yet I can see the threads of argumentation against it. And as much good as I think the internet has done, and I don't want to baby with the bathwater, but as much good as the internet has done, I also look at this and go Crichton, you're right. What have we lost because of this?
Yeah. It's hard to argue against the ubiquitousness,
Right.
but you can certainly find elements of flaws
Sure.
and where it's not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But it was a very kind of when I saw it, I was like, damn, that's deep.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that he saw it way back then.
Yeah. It's prescient.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And which when you look at Crichton's work,
It makes sense.
not at all surprising.
Yeah, not
that
in the
that he
least.
had that thought.
Not in the least.
You know,
It's you were the person to have that thought.
that makes the most sense of anything.
Correct.
You know, of all of what you're saying, the fact that you thought of this
Yeah.
totally makes
Yeah.
sense.
That checks out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if we go back. Actually, no. I know we don't go back to a time Michael Crichton. We don't go back to that. So I guess it's what do you...
I mean, we could. There's I keep seeing the image of the Flintstones with the Christmas tree and the Christmas hats on. And they're
Okay.
wait a second. We've always thought the Flintstones were in the past, but are they in the future? Because
Oh
how
my
would they
God.
have the
Oh my
reference of
God.
Christmas if,
Yeah, okay. Oh, man.
yeah, it's cyclical.
Okay.
And we're on the way back down. Nah, I think we're still going up. AI. Look at AI. Come on.
I think it's one of those okay, but you and I and everyone listening, we can reflect on what Crichton said in the early 90s, and we get to decide. That's the powerful tool.
Sure.
Is that we can decide, do we want to continue to engage, or how do we want to shape that? And that to me is the empowering thing out of all of this.
Yeah, to me, I think the biggest revelation of the internet over the past decade or so is the negative ubiquitousness
Right.
of the internet.
It's-
that
yeah.
maybe was not foreseen by Crichton.
Right.
Of how negative the internet can be
Agreed.
over anything and everything.
Yep. Well,
You know,
on that bummer,
on that negative note.
that bummer of a note. You got anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Nah, me neither. We'd love to know, what do you think about the Talisker 8-year natural cask strength edition special release
Bottle.
2021?
Yeah. What do you think about it? Or have you had the 2022?
Ooh.
I don't even know what special character they put on that one. I
If
could
you
look
want-
it up.
We
I
could, but
yeah.
we're waiting for the listener to send it to us.
Nah, I'm gonna sit here and ruminate over it. Think about what I think it should have been, and then what were the flaws in
And
that
all the negative
selection.
aspects. Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yep.
We also want to know, what do you think about this kind of Michael Crichton perspective of the ubiquitousness of the internet and what, like, the internet as it's become has removed from us as society?
Yeah, has the absence of rumination made us lose anything?
You can let us know what you think by getting in touch with us through email. It's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
Man, we are all over that social media thing right now.
No joke.
It's always one word, Drep and Stone, DREPN Stone. Come find us. We are socializing that media so hard.
Yeah, TikTok,
Yeah.
Instagram,
Sometimes.
Facebook,
Every once in a while.
Twitter,
More than we'd like to.
Threads.
You know it.
Exactly. And we love it.
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
We're all out. We got it all out there.
Plenty o fish.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of pixelated images.
We'd love it if you support the podcast. You can do so financially through our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/drepandstone. You can also rate Drep and Stone wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one.
Hell yeah.
Thumbs,
Way up.
likes,
All up in there.
stars.
Oh, now you're making me blush.
You're welcome. You can also simply like repost something on social media. Like, that's a huge help.
Do a little share.
Yeah. Little likey like.
You know, little post on your story.
Even better.
Yeah. Get
Why
out of here
not?
with that stuff.
And you can support Drep and Stone by telling someone about the podcast.
Yeah, that's really the best way to do it.
It's super helpful.
Super easy.
Yeah. But you got to follow up though.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I told you about episode blank, blank, blank. Did you do that thing?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't? Well,
Please
listen.
go do it.
Like,
So
download
we can
it
talk
right.
about it.
Exactly. Because I need to talk about this with someone.
Yeah.
I need to think about it. I need to pause. I need to sit on my front porch in my rocking chair.
Yeah, I'd
and
like
I
to
need
ruminate with you.
Exactly. I need to.
Yeah.
Sure. I love how, like, we both talk about, like, the downfall of the thing, but we also use the thing to do the thing.
Yeah. Because we're in that, Einstein was over here. We're not over there. We're on the other end of it. There's a spectrum, right?
And we're at the low end.
and
Okay.
Einstein was over there.
Gotcha. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your ass never show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Do you feel any different?
Not yet.
It takes a little bit.
Yeah. What are you doing here?
Drops.
Drops for us to shower.
Poo. Poo. Yeah, yeah. I don't know why I'm repeating myself. I'm sorry. Can you start again?
Damn.
Got whiskey in the eye.
That's 120 proof.
Oh my
right in the
God.
eyeball.
Well, if my theory of relativity,
Great thing did we do in the last 2 decades.
yeah.
Like, we're fucking
Oh, but
entertained.
Yeah, cool. Entertaining ourselves to death. Yeah.
And then we can be ubiquitous together.